Hey everybody, it's Richard Ramos, and thank you for coming back to the Parent Whisperer podcast. And as you know, mom and dad out there, we are doing our best to provide the leadership program for you, strengthening you, whether you've read one of my books or you've taken the online course on the website, whatever it is. But this podcast is more conversational. And today I have a special guest that I want to introduce you to because our work is with parents. That's, as you guys all know, that's what we're doing. We're working with mom and dad, step parents, blended families. But this young lady is working with children, and I think that what she's doing, it fits right in with our mission and what we all are all about as far as the parent-child relationship. She happens to be in Florida, and I want to introduce to you is Jacqueline Waller and her organization, You Are Loved. You Are Loved. I think it's just
Yep, Your Love Store.
Your Love Store. Let me read just a little bit about their program. Jacqueline Waller and Amy Adams Hamilton. Today we just have Jacqueline, but her partner is Amy Adams Hamilton, the founders of You Are Loved. They began in 2020 as a movement to spread kindness and encouragement, and it has grown into a mission dedicated to empowering, this is what I like, empowering the next generation. You are loved. We believe every child and teen deserves to know they are valued, capable, and uniquely created with purpose. So, Jacqueline, welcome to the show, and I would like you to just introduce yourself, tell us your story, and just speak to the parents that are out there today.
Okay, yeah. So we started. So I did grow up here in South Florida. I moved to Atlanta. I still live there. I do go back and forth between both states, and so grew up. My parents divorced when I was 10, and
Yep.
so grew up in a split household. And I moved out of my house when I was 17 years old, and my mom was trying to figure out, like, she was losing her place. I was trying to figure out how I'm going to graduate high school because I had dropped out and was just going to go get my GED, and then decided. My friend came in down from Melbourne, Florida, which is near Cocoa Beach, Florida, and picked me up. And then I hung out with her for the summer while my mom was kind of figuring out the house and, what was next for her. And I was 17 at the time, and then went to summer school. And then my other friends came and picked me up and went back down and then rented a room and had a job and paid rent while I was graduating high school 6 months late. I was supposed to graduate in June of 1991, which is a long time ago. It kind of gives me my age. But I graduated in January of 92. And, but with all that, without a car in South Florida, you taking the bus system and stuff like that. You just wait, you never know, and the bus is late, whatever. It was crazy. But with all of that, it's just it was able to be able to create a resilience in me. And even during after that, just based off of choices, went through homelessness, went through a lot of different things that happen to a person, but and different traumas that a lot of women go through,
Mhm.
a higher percentage than a lot of people think, as well as men. And so just different things like that. And then buying my first condo, and just even when just getting my first car, I just never thought that that would be possible. Like, I didn't know how that was, just like, oh my gosh, this is such a blessing, because I never thought that I would ever even own a car. But just through all that and going through self-development therapy and just different things throughout life, had an opportunity through building out different businesses where I always wanted to have something that was for families or something that was going to serve others. And so it wasn't until and going through different companies and organizations and stuff like that. And just through that whole time, each process, even though those companies never became successful, I learned a lot. Like through my company Connecting Atlanta, we put on over 72 different business work networking events and brought people together, all that. So that was a learning lesson. And then it just brought me to where we are today. So each thing that we go through is that we have to overcome is going to take us to the next level and
Right.
help us grow. So I don't regret any of my mistakes. Well, I probably regret some, but the challenges, I meant to say, like the challenges that I go through in life.
We all regret some of them. But
Yeah.
let me before now, that's interesting. Your story. I didn't know all this. By the way,
Yeah.
people out there, we've just met a couple of weeks ago, but I was just very impressed with Jacqueline and what she's doing in Florida. But before we get to your organization, I didn't know all this about you. So, just a couple of things. Number one, maybe a word to the parents out there whose kids, maybe we have a lot of people that are divorced, single
Mm-hmm.
parents, blended families. What was it about when you left, um, kept you, on the road, like you said, you maybe made some mistakes, but what kind of encouragement can parents have when their kids kind of things happen, but yet you continue to move forward? What was it about? How did that happen? What was it about you? What was in you? Was it something your mom instilled in you, or what would you attribute your success to, overcoming all these tough these you very went through that very quickly, but all of those.
Yeah, I didn't really know what I could expound upon, or you know what I'm saying, or like, so I just didn't want. So feel free to ask me any questions if you want to dissect any part of what I spoke about. I'm happy to discuss that. I'll allow you to lead
Well,
that.
I think a lot of
But
parents are that are listening. They're going through the situation that you described.
yeah. So I'll be honest, like my friend, so before my mom lost her, when I was 17, before my mom lost her house, and I was like 15 or 16, my friend and I snuck out for like a week and took my mom's car. And then the last night, like everything went wrong. Like I just knew it. And then I got busted and got my beat. My mom beat my butt. and then
Right,
and then the next night we stole her mom's car because and then her sister snitched on us and ratted us out. And we took the car back and because we were coming back and we saw cops at our house. We were like, oh my gosh. So I say that because it's like, we're not angels. And it was just so stupid of us, and it was crazy because neither one of us had a driver's license. How high risk is that? But that was back in the late 80s, when time was completely different back then, where
right,
things are so much stricter now. If we would have been caught, probably today days, they would have taken us right to juvenile hall. They wouldn't even allow our parents to handle the situation, right?
right, right,
So, I will say this, that the night before, whatever, that when we took my mom's car and she caught us, she did beat my behind. And then my friend was staying with us at the time because her house was unstable, and then she had to go home, obviously. And then that next time, when my mom picked me up from my friends, all my mom said was just tell them that I beat you, that I spanked you or whatever,
right.
because I think my mom realized that it wasn't working at that point. Like I was
And
just
your
so
mom's a
hard
single
headed.
parent. She was a single
My
parent.
mom was a single mom since I was 10 years old. And at this time, I had been like 15 years old, 15 or 16, something like that.
And do you
And
think that what you went through is why you do what you do today?
yeah. And I can't say that I was absent, like even though my dad's here with me right now, but like my dad wasn't uh completely active in my life. He became like an every other weekend dad. So I think it's important for the fathers out there to be involved in their children's lives, because they offer that level of authority and discipline and love that moms just can't provide to girls or boys. It's not just their sons, but although the men do teach their sons how to become men, but I think that if my dad would have been more of a presence in my life at a younger age and where we went on daddy daughter dates, he edified me a little bit more. um that would have changed the trajectory of my decision making as well, right?
Right.
And my fear level.
Right.
Okay. So, but yes, the resilience, the fact that my mom did everything that she could and my parents did the best that they could, right? My dad was a retired vet. He had PTSD. He had his own issues, right? We don't realize that till we get older. But anyways, but my mom, um, no matter what, she just continued to move forward and she didn't give up. My mom's a fighter.
Right. I want you
So,
to hear all the moms out there, all you single moms, pay attention to what she just said. Listen to what is she saying. Go ahead.
so yeah, I just said that she just moved forward and, she didn't give up. She was resilient. So my mom really taught me that, and to just continue to make sure I'm able to take care of myself, move forward. But I do give all glory to God, to my Savior, and I believe that and when I have made many stupid decisions in my life, it's because of Him that has provided me the grace and the protection to maneuver myself and turn it into a learning lesson instead of a terminal life lesson. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Now, two more questions, and then I want you to talk about your organization.
Okay.
Number one, um, do you have kids?
I don't. I made the decision to terminate that when I was 21, which was
Mm,
probably not
mm.
probably, it's one of the biggest regrets of my life. And
Okay.
so ever since then, I have not had any since, but I have two amazing godchildren.
Yeah.
And my godson's 31, and my goddaughter is 16. She'll be 17 coming up in about 15 days
All right.
and
Okay.
graduating high school.
There you go.
Yeah. And
Okay.
she's the love of my life.
And secondly, it sounds like I know you're leaving a lot out, but it sounds like you guys went through a lot. But how is your relationship with your mom today?
Great. I am the primary caretaker per se for both my parents actually.
Okay.
So,
Nice.
yeah. My mom is a two-time stroke survivor. She's fully disabled. She has limited communication, and she's been stroke free for 8 years. So, my mom, and then, so crazy enough, my dad's brother and his wife, my dad's half brother and his wife, had called me and wanted to move back down an hour and a half back south. And I was like, this is when my mom had had her first stroke. I was like, yeah, you guys are welcome. You can rent the room as long as you can help take care of my mom, blah, blah, blah. And then they were like, sure. And then a year later, my mom had her second stroke and became fully disabled. At that time, my mom was still talking and walking and stuff like that. So that became a full time job. And my aunt is a stay at home wife, and not always, but she is now. And she's been the primary caretaker for my mom. You know what I mean? Like I
Okay.
manage
Yeah. Yeah.
everything. I make sure that we have a safe place to live, provide a quality of life, and do all that. And then my aunt and uncle, my aunt does the rest for the day-to-day stuff with my mom. So my mom and I have a great relationship now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
It's a lot. It's
more,
a lot,
it's a
Richard.
lot, and the more I hear, the more you're turning into another one of my heroes.
Oh.
Because you know, we really stress the parent-child relationship, and especially when there's ever been a fallout or a broken relationship or whatever, one of the main teachings that we have is on reconciliation,
Yeah.
because I always try to help parents understand or families that I think all families have problems in one whether you want to call it a problem or a situation in one way or another. That's not the issue. That's nothing to feel bad about or ashamed about, or really, it's just normal. But the issue is, what do you do about it? What do
Yeah.
you do when you have a broken relationship, or when things, and like in your story, there was a time where you were being rebellious, I guess, and just out there. And so many of us have that story, but what makes me sad, and one of the reasons I do Parents on a Mission, one of the reasons that compelled me to do it, started many years ago, was because that relationship wasn't getting fixed.
Mm.
It was just getting swept under the rug. Nobody wants to say anything. No, there's no apology. There's no acknowledgement. There's no, any kind of effort to reconcile. It's more just kind of, oh, let's just go on and it'll
Yeah.
get better. But a lot of times it doesn't get better. And then secondly, those young kids then become parents
Yeah.
and the cycle just continues. So you know what I'm talking.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. And uh I would say that my faith and probably about like 4 or 5 years of therapy, a lot of intense therapy in the beginning for me that I chose because I was having really bad insomnia. Um, and then it just drew down to like when I was like having some really bad anxiety or something like that, not knowing how to process
Right.
stuff, that I would schedule something with my therapist, who is absolutely amazing and has always been there no matter what. She's just amazing. And so I would say just learning, one of the biggest things, which is what drew us to wanting to also do this, and I'll share a little bit about Amy, who is my sister. We're not blood related, but she's my sister. Okay.
Right.
Um, but uh, but it's just really, it was creating these tools that I learned through the years of therapy and how to process stuff, because I would always remember like, okay, like this is a major thing that's happening to me right now, but how do I process this? How does, I would never think that I was normal. I always thought I was just so different. And I was like, well, how would the everyday, normal, not weird person think about this that has it all together? Like, how would they process this, And so I was like, I just don't like know how to process this. Like, I just don't know what to do. And so I would either talk to God or talk to my therapist and go into the word. And that's what I would do. And then for some reason it would just work out. But one of the biggest things I would always remind myself is, Jacqueline, like, you've been through tough stuff before and you made it through that. And here you are today. You're
That,
about to go through something else that's major, but you know what? You're going to get through this too. And there's always another side of that.
that's right. That's right. So talk about your organization and what are the services that you guys provide, and maybe some of the stories of some of the different kids that you're serving.
Yeah. So we initially started it during COVID. And then I started as like a motivational thing or whatever, because people didn't have hope. And a lot of people were so
Right, right.
sad and stuff.
It was a tough time.
And
Mm.
I just wanted people to know that there's hope out there. Um, so that's why like our tagline is "Power Your Journey." And then so then Amy and I created, Amy came on, which is my soul sister, and she came on, and then we started developing journals and planners for women. And our three key areas we focus on, and transitions into our children's books, which is relationships with your faith, family, and friends, whatever someone's faith is. The second thing is career schooling. And the third is self care, right? Those I feel like are the three key areas that we all, out of everything in life, those are the three things that we focus on
Same
in
again.
life:
Faith.
relationships with your faith,
Faith.
family, and friends. So,
Okay.
relationships is one.
Relationships.
Okay. Career or schooling is two, right? Our
Okay.
work, what helps develop us income or builds our minds. And the third thing is self care. How are we nourishing our bodies? How are we nourishing our minds? How are we nourishing our soul? How are we nourishing ourselves overall, right?
So those are the three like programs that you.
Those are the three areas that we implement. Those are the three things that we implement into all of our programs.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Great.
And it's to help give us a more of a balance this out.
Yeah. Yeah. So how,
Anyways,
go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, sorry. So planners became a nuisance because they expire. so so we are like, oh my gosh. And like I'm more of a B2B salesperson. That's my background expertise in corporate America. And then I was like, in online marketing, and I hate social media and just all that. I was just like, oh, I was like, it's a
Thank
necessary
God,
evil.
good to hear that somebody's not all addicted to social media.
Yeah, no, like, yeah. So, um, so anyways, so then Amy had created something where she's like, "Oh, I'm thinking about this workbook," right? Her son is neurodivergent. He was born addicted. He's adopted, but and he knows, but he was born addicted by his biological parents, and so he's got some neurodivergent stuff and emotional learning how to regulate his emotions and stuff like that, right? And so she puts him through therapy, does all that stuff. But I was like, oh my gosh, Amy, this is like exactly what we need to do. And this is going to not only help him. So then we created this book called I Am One of One. And this was for third to fifth graders. And it's a fun workbook for kids to explore who they are and who they want to become. And then we have two.
Wow.
Then we created one for teens, which was it's called Vision to a Journey that has a vision board, which is something that I love doing and building as vision boards. But the journal gives them an opportunity to bring out the best in them and what they truly desire and want and who they want to become. Then they put their vision board together and then they go through those three key areas that I just focused that I told you about
Right.
throughout the rest of the 3 weeks. So it's really about self discovery. I want these kids to have healthy boundaries and self respect and love for themselves. So that way they can, when they are tempted with bad decisions, that they have the opportunity to have that strength, regardless of what's going on in the household or whatever, to say no and make better decisions for themselves, you know?
Well, I'm really, I want to write this down because uh these points that you're making, see, um programs are important, like the program that you have that you're describing. But what we emphasize is, but they can't take the place of you, mom and dad.
Right.
But we need them. We need
Yeah.
them. We need them because not everybody has the mom and dad that we would love them to have, and we know that. So,
Yeah.
but parents can, if they listen to what you're saying, all of you that are listening, what Jacqueline described as the three key areas of relationship, that's something that we as parents can also focus on in all the life lessons and the things that we deal with our kids. Secondly, of course, education and ultimately helping them to find their purpose in life.
Mm-hmm.
We can do that at home. Jacqueline is doing that in her program. And then self-care. So talk a little bit more about that, Jacqueline. What kinds of things do you talk about or teach or whatever as far as helping kids understand the importance of taking care of themselves?
So that's great. And one of the things is having time alone.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Not just scrolling on social media, put the phone down, maybe listening to a podcast or something like that. That's a positive, uplifting podcast, something that reading a book. Okay. Getting off social media, stop looking at what other people and stop caring, what other people think about you, how many likes you got, stuff like that. It's really just having an opportunity to just get some peaceful time in prayer, in meditation, So those are some of the things that we want to be able to get away from people that are negative, and reading something positive, reading something that's going to be uplifting to our spirit. Maybe speaking to a friend on a phone that is a friend that is an edifier, right?
Yeah.
um and if you're just feeling drained and stuff like that, and then get on a phone call with someone where you guys can build each other up and edify each other, right? Encourage each other,
Yeah.
provide that strength and that kindness that a lot of us don't get throughout there in the world.
Right.
And but yeah, those are some of the things. Go for a swim, go work out, go for a run. These are all things that is going to help bring us back to our center. But one of the biggest things is reading something positive. Don't Not a thriller novel, not stuff like that, because that's all planting these seeds in your brain. And like I used to listen to true crime podcasts all the time, but then I started or and watch Criminal Minds on TV. Then I started having nightmares, and it was like
Right.
about evil stuff. And I was like, oh, I can't listen to this anymore. I can't. This is
Mhm.
affecting me and affecting my spirit. So I do listen to audiobooks and stuff like that, but it's all self-development, something I'm learning, something that is building me up, something that's giving me new ideas, helping me be more creative. And that's my self-care. It's allowing me to deregulate and bring myself back to my center.
Yeah,
Those are
something
some of the areas.
inspiring. And I think
Right.
that inspirational writings are out there for kids. That
Journaling.
journaling, and that's a great one. If
Yeah.
parents are willing to, look for these things online or whatever, I mean, they're out there. And so it's
And
nice to reinforce, one of the things that I kind of harp on is that public education is undermining the authority of parents. It's undermining the place of parents. It's not
mhm,
being supportive of the parent. It's more about, keeping secrets from the parents,
mhm.
which I don't want to go off on that one, but um, what should be happening, in my view, is the school and or the church or these public institutions should be supporting what mom and dad are doing, the values that you have at home. And so my role is to help parents understand the importance of you teaching what are your values, what is the legacy of our family, who are we as a family, and building that loyalty and winning the heart and mind of your children, and knowing that when you send them to school or the daycare center or to a program like yours, those things are being reinforced. Exactly
Yeah.
what you're talking about, especially in these three areas of relationship education, career, and self-care. So that's what we try to do. And when you have that combination, uh, imagine the kind of children that we're going to have in the next generation. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, and again, this is where I'm, saying, but mom and dad, you cannot depend on the community to build your family. It's your family that's building the community, and don't forget.
I love that. I'm going to suggest something if that's okay.
Of course.
Uh and this just came to me, so I just wanted to share this really quick. And so when it comes to like when I was thinking about like the journal, the journey to a vision, the parents can do the vision board with their children and do their own vision board. And
Yes.
then like if the parents, and they can use AI to help with this and stuff like that, but just maybe that's something we should create for the families, or you can create it, Richard, but do like an inventory checklist, right? And do an inventory checklist, kind of figure out what everyone loves, and then through that, what hope, maybe with the help of AI or whatever, just create your family mission statement,
Right.
and then put that mission statement up on your wall. What is something positive that this is our mission for our family? How are we going to affect future generations? How are we going to positively affect the community? How are we going to positively affect like as the parents, our grandchildren, your children as children, and your
Right.
children's children? How are we going to do that? And with that and the mission statement, and then go through and build out your vision board and have it placed up in the house and build it around that. So now as you're going through like major things in life and you're feeling off centered and stuff like that, you come home and then you're like, okay. And then you're like, oh, this is our mission statement. Okay. I've got to stay focused on this, right?
On
This
that.
is what we're moving towards.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the year, do a goal set list at the end to say these are all the things that we said we wanted to accomplish at the beginning of the year or mid-year, whatever, and these are the things we were able to do and we were able to check off on our vision board.
Okay, perfect segue. I'm gonna grab something here. I'm gonna grab my vision board. Now, let me say this. In all of you that are listening, you know, and if you haven't read my book or done my online course, what do we teach families? We teach families to write a family mission statement,
Oh,
exactly
I didn't I
what
didn't know
Jacqueline
that.
just said. And that's an option. And one of the reasons we do that is that is one of the tools that we say if we want to win, and you have to win, not demand the loyalty of your children, because our message is, Mom and Dad, you are in a battle every day for the mind and the heart and the loyalty of your children. Loyalty is a gift, and they're going to choose to give it to somebody. Don't assume or take for granted they're going to give it to you. So what are we doing? Mission statement is one of those lessons. Building a legacy statement is another one. But I also have a youth on a mission program.
Mm.
Okay. And in that youth on a mission program, we teach them to build vision boards. So here's, I built this in a different program that I was
Oh,
on.
I
But
love that.
you see, it's all about parents on a
Yeah.
mission, the different
Yeah.
things. For me, this is my, national podcast, which I have,
Yes.
magazine. I didn't have when I built this, and I
Okay.
built this in October of 2024. POM, the number one parent seminar in the United States. So anyway,
Okay.
it's not about me. I'm just saying to parents that are out there listening to you, I'm going to start instituting that into my Parents on a Mission program because right now I only do it in the Youth on a Mission. But you gave me a
Yeah.
great idea. I'm already doing
Good.
legacy, I'm already doing mission statement, and now I'm going to do the vision board. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. And do like an inventory checklist
An
and
inventory check.
that you could do in the beginning to help them when they're figuring out what their mission statement and stuff like that is, you know? And then through that, you can build that out and then help with ChatGPT or whatever to help you create their
But I
mission
love the
statements.
idea. That's the reason I showed this. I love the because a lot of parents that are listening to this, they'll be saying, "What's a mission? What's a vision board? What is that? And how do you
Right.
do that?" So I want you to talk about how you teach kids to do it. How do they build and what do they do? Talk about what you guys do to help kids build the vision board.
Sure. So in our book, it says the purpose, rise with purpose. Okay. So hold on. Let's see here. What is a vision board? A vision board is a creative way to turn your dreams, goals, and values into something you can actually see every day. It's a visual story of where you've been, what matters to you now, and who you're becoming. It helps your mind focus on what's possible. When you can see your goals, your brain begins to look for ways to make them real. They remind you that even small steps matter. Every decision you make can move you closer to the life you imagine. This week, you'll build a vision board, blah, blah, blah. But that's part of that. Okay. And so even in the Bible, it says, write your visions on the tablet, right? He doesn't say just talk about it. He doesn't say type it in a phone. He says put it on a tablet, but paper and a vision board um is our modern day tablets. Okay. And so some of the stuff that we ask is, and we have everybody write a story to themselves. Okay. Dear me, like your identity, who you are, and then you can write one at the very end as well. But and this what do you want your story to look like when you leave your legacy? What do you want that dash to look like on your tombstone? What is it that your legacy, what is it that you hope that you never thought you could do, but you hope that you could accomplish this coming year, even if it's as small as getting a new car, maybe getting a $2 raise, maybe just being able to get up out of a chair, you know? What is your vision statement, or to see your children graduate, you know? That was one of the biggest things. Like when I was earlier, it's like I said, I just want to be able to graduate high school. Like I just wanted to accomplish these small things at a time, because I always felt like I was on my own, and I just was like, I'm either going to survive or I'm going to die. That was really how I felt when I was younger.
Well,
And you know, and
let me
so,
ask you this. What are the materials you use, or do you use materials like what I showed you?
yeah.
Yeah, what
So
are the materials parents need to help their kids?
poster board. So we
Okay.
recommend 11 by 14, but you can use whatever size you want. I actually, we usually poster boards, but I really like what you showed me there. But a poster board, you'll need some scissors, magazines, newspapers, printed images. So if you have like any doctor's offices or whatever, just ask them if they have any extra magazines, right? That they're about to throw away. You can always get those. So you can get that stuff for free. A glue stick. You can use double-sided tape or whatever, but I like glue sticks better. Markers, colored pencils, pens. You can look up inspirational quotes or affirmations, like that stuff that either that you think about, or if you have your own quote. A folder, no, stickers or decorative items, and access to a printer to for digital images, you know? So that's really it.
Well,
It's really not much. A poster board,
these
scissors, magazines, and a glue stick and some markers. It's really those are the easiest things.
those
And
are the
then
easiest thing. Very
yeah.
simple.
Yep. And so
So okay, mom and dad, I want to give you a vision here of what Jacqueline and I are talking about. Imagine yourself, and this could be with your kids' friends too. Now, when I put together this vision board that I showed you, I was in the room with 200 entrepreneurs at a conference. And that's where I got this. They gave this to us.
I love that.
This it's great. So, but mom and
Yeah.
dad, you don't have to go to the dollar store, and for $1 you can get a uh what is it called? The
A
poster board.
poster board. Yeah.
And the markers, crayons, magazines, any
Yeah.
magazines, scissors, cut them. And what you're doing is you're sitting there with your son or your daughter, and maybe they're friends. Maybe there's four of you. Maybe it's just you and your daughter. And you just answering those questions like, what do I want, as Jacqueline went through. And then you're flipping through magazines looking for a picture of the car you want, the vacation you want to go to, the home you want, the diploma whatever visual, cut it out and you just put it on the board. And then, as she mentioned, you could find quotes, you could cut it out of a magazine, out of an old book, or write it, a quote that
Yeah.
inspires you. And that's what you're doing with your son or daughter. You're helping, you're just spending, I don't know how long, you could be there for an hour. You spend time with them putting this together, and it's not in stone.
No.
You could make
And you can do it
one,
over the course of a week or days. There's no right or wrong answer. You can take stuff down, put stuff back up. That's okay.
and then put it in their room, put it on their door, put it where they'll see it every day. And that's what the idea is. They're envisioning, they're seeing it, and their subconscious mind is taking in, that's what I want, that's where I'm going, that's what I'm doing, that's who I am, that's a picture of who I am, who I want to be, etc. Man, if you do that, you're going to see it's much better than being on a tablet or Facebook.
Exactly.
That's great. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I don't know.
Anything
I
else?
was gonna say that this the last thing was is a lot of people are like, oh, are you gonna build an app out? You're gonna doing this? I don't know. I don't think so, because my biggest thing is like my goal is to get kids off of the tablet and get them onto just interacting and the inspirational story. and then I know we got to wrap
Yes.
it up soon. So inspirational story. So we did a couple things. One is there's a nonprofit here. Can I mention the nonprofits that I
Yeah,
worked with? Is that
sure,
okay?
sure, of course.
Community-based connections. They're absolutely amazing. They do a lot of stuff in the community here in Broward County, Florida. They just moved to Palm Beach, but we did the Journey to a Vision with them, with the kids, and you could see their faces light up when they were doing the vision boards and just like what they wanted to do after they were graduating high school. And so it was really great to see. We have a 21-day transformational journal that is for women. And so that follows the same three key areas. Okay.
Right. Nice.
Um, and that one, the women really liked because they were in poor communities. It was all races actually, and it was in poor communities. And one of the things, the ones that some were just so afraid to open up, they didn't really want to say anything. They didn't even do it, but then there was some that was able to get something out of it. And the compliment that we received was they just really appreciated their opportunity for their minds to be opened up and giving hope,
Wow.
for
Wow.
something greater.
That's great.
Now, when I did our first program with the Boys and Girls Club here in South Florida, okay, so there was this young man, his name is Jermaine, and he's very sweet kid, right? And he was very shut down in the beginning of the process and stuff like that. And then he got excited seeing I was going twice a week, and he would get excited seeing me come in. He came out of his shell. They get stickers. They all have to engage. They all have to read out of the book. The kids would get excited. They wanted to read. The ones that could read well, they wanted to help pick up the books. Even if they didn't want to participate in the rest of the program, they were like, "Oh, I'll pick up the books. Can I get a sticker?"
Yeah.
And so by the end of the program, this young man Jermaine was fully out of his shell. And then when he found out it was my last day, he just would not stop crying. And I was like, Jermaine, you can't do that
Oh,
to me.
wow.
I'm like, um and then there's this another young man, legend, who made a big impression on me. He's a natural leader. He's Mr. Popular in school. These young adults or young people are in the third grade. So they were
Wow.
between 8 and 9. Yeah.
Wow.
And so Legend is probably Mr. Popular in school. He liked to hang out with the cheerleader, and I just remember one day he just comes in and I was like, Legend, was that your dad out there? Like, and he's like, yeah. And I was like, what happened? He's like, I got in trouble in school today. So my dad came to have a conversation. And so he still got to come in. He didn't have to leave and go. And I was like, well, I said, and other kids snitch on each other, right? Oh, this is what they
Yeah.
really did. It's so funny. And he was like, and he said, and I said, well, you know what? It is what it is. You did it. I said, the consequences are going to be what they're going to be. I said, you can either learn from this or you can continue to make the same mistakes.
Right. Right.
But he was just so cool about it. You know what I'm saying?
That's
He's just
great.
like this, and he liked to participate, and he just liked to be up in front of the class. And it was just, and so one of the things I wish I would have been able to do for all of them, and then for some of them, especially some of the harder ones and stuff, I wrote little notes in their books and stuff like that for them, trying to
Beautiful.
inspire them for the future. And then this other young man, and this was a thing that I wish I would have, but it's okay. It's a learning lesson, right? It was the first time we did this,
Right.
and I'm thankful that the Boys and Girls Club allowed us to be able to do it. And that was another intervention that God did by giving me that. Oh, there's another young man. He just wouldn't really participate. He's like, this is so boring, right? And I was like, so I walk over to him and I cannot remember his name, but I walk over to him and I was like, I said, do you have a hard time reading? And I said to him low, like not loud. I didn't want to embarrass him. He was like, yes. And I said, okay. I was like, can you read this line right here? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, okay. And then, so I then, so I stood next to him as he was reading it. And then I'd repeat out a word if he didn't know it and give it to him. So that way he could do it and he could participate and become engaged. But then, when we do it again in September with the Boys and Girls Club at another club, I want to pair I'm going to figure out who the stronger readers are with the not so strong readers and pair them together so they can help encourage and then help them become better leaders and stuff like that. So,
Wow.
yeah, so
Uh,
those were my stories for
great.
that.
Well, listen, Jacqueline, first of all, I appreciate your time today. And I love what you're doing. And you guys are making impact. And just those stories you told of those kids, this is what it's all about. So, for those of you that are listening, I would really appreciate if you help me reach more people, if you help me reach more families. This video, to share this video, imagine the inspiration you're going to give some parents out there, the ideas that Jacqueline shared that her organization has done with young people. So if you would do that favor for me, share the video, like the video, leave a review. That's always, the way YouTube likes to grow their YouTube channels. So if you would do that for me and just help me to reach more families. So four things that I want you to take away. Number one is helping your children with their relationship, starting with you, mom, starting with you, dad, stepdad, stepmom. Number two is helping them discover their purpose through education and start to find what they love to do. And once they find it, then our job, mom and dad, is to help develop it, whatever that love that they will discover about themselves. And third is the self-care. So important that we teach our children how to take care of themselves, not relying on other people or Facebook and TikTok and all of those things. And number four, vision boards. I hope that you will take that away and you will do that with your kids. But you've been listening to the Parent Whisperer podcast. I'm Richard Ramos. I thank you for your time. I appreciate all of you. And remember, mom and dad, parents on a mission is not for bad parents, it's for good parents who want to get better. Thanks for listening.